Hey guys, per Brad Stainbrook of 24/7 Sports and the OBR, Kareem Hunt and Greedy Williams are now on the trade block. So the Browns are listening to any potential offers for these two guys. Let's talk about it. All right, first things first with Kareem Hunt. I think he is a dynamic player. He offers us a ton of versatility out of the backfield. We use him a lot on third down, but at the end of the day, how much are we really using him? He's got 66 rushing attempts this year for 263 yards. He has scored 3 touchdowns. He's also caught 15 balls for 87 yards and also scored a touchdown in the air. So what Kareem Hunt offers us in terms of what he can do to be that 1-2 punch with Nick Chubb typically is a weapon, right? So don't get me wrong. Like, I think he's very, very strong. And for me personally, I'd prefer, being that we really have not a very good chance at all of making the playoffs this year, why trade him now? Right? Unless we can get some sort of crazy deal where we start getting some of those number 1 draft picks back, I don't see the point of trading Kareem Hunt because of the upside that he could potentially give us when Deshaun Watson returns. Now, one of the big reasons why we could be looking to dump Kareem Hunt, not really dump him, but try to get some value for Kareem Hunt, because he's 27 years old. He's going to be 28. Typically, when you hit 28 in the NFL, there is a drastic drop-off in terms of your production, and it continues to drop year after year. So you hit a wall typically at 28. However, Kareem Hunt has missed a lot of games in his career due to the suspension. So it's not like he doesn't have any tread left on the tires. This is a guy that, although he's going to be 28, he is still got a lot of value there, personally, I believe. Now, how much does he have? I don't know, maybe a year or two more than what you would typically get out of a running back. He's still tremendously athletic. He's still very productive when given the opportunity. So if you can take a Kareem Hunt and you don't have to make him a feature back and you don't have to make him the number 1, but if you give him a 1-2 punch for a team that already has a clear number 1 and you put him into that similar role that you've done for the Browns, I think he can be incredibly productive for a potential playoff run, or one of those teams that is making a push. Now, you just saw this with the 49ers going after Christian McCaffrey, right? So they believe that they could be like the LA Rams of this year, where they're going all in, right? So if there's another team out there that could potentially be in that sort of situation where they're saying, you know, we're going to go all in, we're going to try to do it, a team like the Vikings, a team like the Bills, right, who are off to a good start, and this could be it. You could see a team like the Giants going after a Kareem Hunt, really having a little bit of insurance around Saquon Barkley, who's often injured. But then again, you're giving that 1-2 punch there, right? So what is Kareem Hunt's value at this point is really going to be determined on what is a team looking to do this year, how many games they're going to get out of him, and then, you know, how desperate are they to win? If I had to put a number on it, I would say the Browns would be looking for 2 number 2s, you know, maybe if we get lucky, maybe a 1 and a 4, something like that for Kareem. That would be fantastic. I think if anybody offered a first-round pick for Kareem Hunt, I think we would take it right now, because clearly we've got such a deficiency on the defensive side of the ball that it's painfully obvious that another running back or backup running back isn't going to cut it for us. When you have guys like Dearness Johnson who can still play, you have guys like Jerome Ford. So you have some running backs who can step up and kind of fill that void. Jerome Ford is a guy, I know he's been injured, but he's one of those guys that, when healthy, could be that Kareem Hunt type guy. So the kind of value that I would expect from a Kareem Hunt, probably realistically looking for like a 3 and a 4. I think anything more than that, the Browns will probably jump all over a 2 or somehow get a 1 out of it, or maybe package up Kareem Hunt and Greedy Williams to try to possibly get a 1. And I think right now that kind of draft capital is so desperately needed to try to shore up the defense, because giving away all of our first round picks for Deshaun Watson for the next couple of years, we don't have another way that we can like really nail it in terms of improving on defense, which is clearly a problem. Now, I do think that when Deshaun comes back, you know, I think some of that is going to be naturally cleared up on its own because of just the sheer limitations that we have with Jacoby Brissett. So when Deshaun comes back, I think we're going to score more points. I think it's going to take a lot of pressure off of the defense, but it's still going to be there because I don't think the talent level is really up to snuff when it comes to the offenses that we're going up against and the holes that are just created on this defense, specifically on the defensive interior. So if we can get a 1 or 2 out of Kareem Hunt, I think they pulled the trigger on that pretty quickly. However, I don't think they're in a desperation move, right? So they're not in a point where they have to just, hey, we'll take a 4 and a 5 for Kareem Hunt. Like, that's not going to give us the talent level that we need to replace, not only replacing what Kareem Hunt offers us on offense, but then also being able to fill a hole with what he's going to give us in return. So don't expect the Browns to just fire sale. I don't think we're quite at that Panthers level where we're just trying to get rid of anybody. But again, the Panthers, they got a lot for Christian McCaffrey. I mean, they didn't give him for nothing, right? So if there's a team out there that is truly interested in improving very quickly, this could be the opportunity that they're looking for to grab a guy like Kareem Hunt who can catch balls, who can run, who's still got a lot of tread left on the tire. I think this is a potentially interesting move. This is something my dad and I talked about on the pregame show last week. If we're really not going to feature him that much, if we're not going to use him, then what's the point of just having him there, right? And on top of it, the season's a wash. We're not going to make the playoffs. Doesn't matter what Deshaun comes back and does. We're not going to make the playoffs. So you're just holding on to a Kareem Hunt for really no reason. But I would say just wait till his value is kind of peaked, because I'm sure teams are calling the Browns saying like, hey, what's it going to take? What's it going to take? So if somebody's truly interested, I say they go and they give it a shot. Greedy Williams, on the other end, is just a whole nother thing. He's played 2 games so far this year. He's got 4 total tackles combined, 2 solo. Really, he's only played 2 seasons, the 2019 and 2021. 2019, he looked like he could be doing some decent stuff. You know, he didn't have any interceptions. He had 2 interceptions in 2021, so last year, in somewhat a limited role. He started 8 games. He played in 16, but then this year he hasn't really been able to take that step forward. I think the Browns at this point are saying, listen, he is, to a certain point, he's damaged goods. You know, he's probably still got that neck injury. He's trying his best. He's only 24 years old, so he's probably has some upside, but somebody's going to have to take a big risk with him and be willing to roll the dice on bringing in a guy like that. The talent was initially there. Again, he's a 2nd-round draft pick. He's young. You know, when things are going well, he can be a decent defender, but it's also one of those things that you look and you say, man, we never really got to see how good he could have been before that injury. And now we're going to try. We bought him high in the 2nd round because he slipped to the 2nd round, and now we're selling him low, right? Because I really don't see how much we can get for Greedy Williams. I mean, I think the reason why he's on the trading block is more to get out of that contract. And I know we're not paying him a ton, but it's still, we're paying him 2nd round money, and it doesn't make sense to do that anymore. We're really not using him. We've played him in 2 games, so he's not being used, and we're paying him some money. Let's see if we can get, even now, if we could get a 5th or 6th for Greedy Williams, I think the Browns would do that. So that's kind of the situation. It's very different between Greedy and Kareem Hunt. And I don't think, I really don't expect them to be packaged together as part of a deal. But if they could, fine. But I really think Greedy is the more dump, and Kareem is to actually go out there and see if we can find some value and find something that we can hopefully turn this thing around. And it really is going to start with finding some young talent, because I think the Browns front office looked at it and said, hey, listen, we got big issues on the defense. It's going to be tough. It's tough every year to get free agents to want to come to the Browns. Jadeveon Clowney ain't coming back, so we're going to have a hole there. And even when he's back, like how much is he really giving us anyway? So we have some holes that we have to fill. We have to look for what kind of chess pieces can we move around in order to recapture some of the draft capital we lost out of the Deshaun Watson trade. And I think, although I love Kareem Hunt, I really do, I think he's given us some really exciting moments over the last couple of years. And I do think he's a great 1-2 punch, the dynamic duo with him and Nick Chubb. But unfortunately, because of the other issues we have, we made an investment in Kareem Hunt. We made an investment, and now it's time that we kind of make good on that because we got production out of him. He didn't get in trouble to the point where he was going to get kicked out of the league or anything like that after, the first incident that he had in Kansas City. So now it's to say, listen, this investment has matured and we want to kind of see what we can get out of it. So we got production and we're going to get something out of it in return, which is, a good thing. All right. So final thoughts. Greedy Williams, unfortunately, was a case of, never really made it happen. And I think the injury clearly impacted him there. So if he goes, I wish him the best of luck. I hope he stays healthy and he can still have a very positive NFL career. He's still got some years to go. Kareem, if you leave, we had some awesome moments. The Pittsburgh game, this is a guy that put it all out there. When Nick was hurt, he stepped up and was the guy for us. And I love seeing him out there when he gets the ball, whether it's, handoffs or catching the ball. He's just a dynamic playmaker type athlete. He's an amazing 1-2 punch with Nick Chubb. And unfortunately, if we get rid of him before Deshaun comes back, then we'll never really get to see how good having like 3 elite level talent players on one offense could be. So it's unfortunate we lose him, but again, the upside of potentially leveraging that to get some young talent in to shore up this defense, it's just something that I understand why the decision is going to be made. So guys, thank you for watching. Hit the like button, subscribe if you're not subscribed. We'll see you soon. Go Browns.